there are so much feelings of shame and of guilt that come with the occurrence of a relapse.
Right.
How does one deal with that? So yes, they may not have been necessarily ready to quit, and they maybe didn't get to a point where they were willing to put in, the requisite work to be able to stack some days.
Right.
But how do you then deal with the emotional fallout of what comes with relapse, right? Like the sense that maybe you failed, the sense that, that there is some shame and some guilt around the fact that you weren't able to pursue the path.
The thing with, and again, I think a lot of us were so resilient, um, when it comes to, especially when we know we want to change, we know we don't want to live like this anymore. And like I tell people, I mean, it's nothing to be ashamed of, but we still have to keep trying. And if you're angry when you have a relapse, I feel that's a good thing, because you
Right.
know that this is not what you don't want to live this way anymore. So if you're angry about it, now if you relapse and you're just like party time, now we're back to party and everything, then no, you're gonna, again, it's gonna get dark for you. But
Right.
I still remember what kept me going even when I relapsed, that I would get so angry, and that would make me. And sometimes it maybe took a couple of weeks or a month or so to get back on track. But I got back on track. So I'm like, and I tell people all the time, if you do relapse, again, nothing to be ashamed of. It's not, that's part of a lot of our journey. A lot of us. I mean, not a lot of people get it right the first time. You know what I mean? So that's part of
Hmm.
the journey. But I mean, the good thing is to not sit in that relapse for too long, because it gets darker. You relapse, get right back up, and get back on, get back in the journey, get back on track. So,
Yeah.
and again, I feel like when if you're upset about it, that means, I feel that's a good thing. Like, hey, that means you don't want to go back to this way. You don't want to live like this. So now let's get right back to what we were doing. And it's about to keep trying. It'll come. It'll come. It's not. No one said it'll come the first time or even the fifth time, but it'll come if you keep fighting it.
Yeah. I mean, relapse is not failure, right? It's just
Exactly.
a checkpoint, right?
All right.
What mechanisms do you use today? I mean, 4 years in, to your own sobriety, and then also mechanisms that you coach other folks to tap into to, promote their success. I think that I feel like that's huge, right?
Big
For
time.
such a long time, for many of us, we've turned to alcohol as a mechanism to cope with life.
Right. Right.
So what do you turn into these days, and what do you coach other folks on?
Well, I mean, one of the things I do, I'm what helps me stay sober is, having a schedule and doing things consistently. And it's all about, I mean, what makes me feel good, like prayer, meditation, I work out, I take care of my body now. I'm sure if you saw me 4 years ago, I was probably like 40 pounds heavier. Um, you know,
Yeah.
things that I know would keep my mind sharp and bring joy to myself. So, and I tell clients I coach, you'll get told a bunch of things that you have to do or you should do, but no, you just have to find what keeps you sober, and that was something you do every day. Now, I do a lot of I work out and things like this, but I don't work out every day. But one thing that I do every day for my sobriety is prayer. And I say a prayer in the morning and the night. I've said it every day for the last since the day I got sober, even when I was in rehab. And that covers. I feel that keeps me sober for the day. That one thing. If I don't do anything else for my sobriety, I do that. you know. And I
Yeah.
said sometimes it could be one thing, it could be five things, but you have to do something every day for your sobriety. Something that when you do it in the first thing in the morning and you do it at night or throughout the day, that's gonna keep your mind off of alcohol, off of drugs, and that'll remove the desire to drink. You know, and
Yeah.
that one thing when I say that prayer in the morning, I just feel covered, and that's that one thing I do to not keep me sober throughout the day. That's one of the tools I use. And I tell everybody, tool different. It'll be tools will be different for everybody. You just have to find something for you, not what other people say you should do, not what other people tell you you need to do or you have to do to be sober. I don't think that I don't apply to that. I mean, you find what's going to keep you sober, something that you could do on a daily basis, and that I'm gonna do this every day for my sobriety, and that's what and it works. And I think you should keep doing it consistently, but do it consistently.
Yeah, I consistency is huge, and I do. I'm this podcast is pretty agnostic when it comes to like programs and what you should do, what you shouldn't do. At the end of the day, whatever you can do to help to support, your sobriety, I feel like that's what you should be zeroing in on. I appreciate you guys listening to the Stacking Days podcast. I hope this episode added value to your recovery and wellness journey. Before we go our separate ways, let's connect on social. You can find us on TikTok and Instagram at Stacking Days or via the website www.stackingdays.com. By supporting the show, you can play a direct role in amplifying people of color in their pursuit of recovery. The easiest way to do that is to subscribe or hit the follow button. This way, you'll never miss an episode, all while playing an active part in creating the ecosystem where diverse voices and healing matter. This show is for the purpose of education and connection and is not a replacement for therapy or recovery care. For more information on the resources and support available, take a look at SAMHSA and some other resources shared in the description. Until we meet again, be well, one day at a time.